All rise.
Choose your character.
B-Dog and Twani. Let's get to it. What is your argument that you guys are arguing?
I am arguing at the stance that the Golden State Warriors needed Kevin Durant more than Kevin Durant needed the Golden State Warriors. So I said this because, the Splash Brothers can't do it by themselves. They need a player to help them. I mean, I simply don't have much explaining to do. When you're a top 10 player of all time and he joins your team, I don't care what anybody says, that team needs him. In 2015, I'm going to do a timeline for you. In 2015, the Warriors beat the Cavs, but to what extent, right? There was no K Love and no Kyrie. Their starting five is LeBron James, Tristan Thompson, Mozgov, Shump, and Dellavedova. Like, okay, congrats. 2016, that same Cavs team's healthy now, all right? They lose that series. The Warriors can't do it. Versus that healthy Cavs team, they can't do it. 2016 offseason, KD joins the Warriors. So then in 2017, they got their squad. The Warriors go 16-1 in the postseason. And Kevin Durant they end up winning that finals 4-1 versus the Cavs. That same Cavs team again. But now the Warriors got KD. They can do it. KD averaged 35.2, 8.2 rebounds, and 5.4 assists. 2018, the Warriors go on to beat the Cavs again as KD wins finals MVP. 2019, without KD, the Warriors lose to Mr. Fun Guy Kawhi and the Raptors, right? 4-2. Proving that once again, at the time, they cannot beat a full strength team in the finals without KD.
Okay, well, I guess I'm up. So I'm going to be arguing that the Warriors did not need Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant needed the Warriors. Opening up, coming off back-to-back finals appearances, and by the way, 2 MVPs from Stephen Curry. First unanimous MVP, I might just throw that in there. The Warriors were coming off of a historical season in which they went 73-9. And to add a top 3 player, might I add, whom just literally blew a 3-1 lead to that team, being a top 3 player, chooses to go to that team that he blew the lead to, which was widely known as the weakest move by a superstar in basketball history, in which I agree. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. How do you do that? And to say that he did not need them, but they needed him, it's insane to me. And if you watch, if you play, it doesn't matter if you played or not. If you know basketball, you know, as a competitor, as a top player in the league, that's just something that you do not do. A, you don't blow that, even though it does happen. But B, you sure as hell do not go to the team that you blew the league and ruin basketball for not just one season, but two consecutive seasons. Basketball ruined. Everyone knew there was no chance in hell nobody else was going to beat that team. Nobody. 73-9, and you add Kevin Durant, what's going to happen?
You got 60 seconds to further your argument, B.
So you said the 73-9 team is the greatest. That you can't argue that one. That's the best record of all time. That is the greatest team of all time. They did not win. They did not win the finals. They didn't. They couldn't beat a healthy. They couldn't beat a healthy Cavs team. They couldn't do it. So my view is in 2016 they realized that they're like, okay, 2015 we beat them. They were weak. Like we played Dellavedova. You know what I mean? By the way, 2015 Iguodala wins Final MVP. Just going to leave that there. But in 2017, the year after they lost to the Cavs, that full strength Cavs teams, they realized they were like, we can't beat this Cavs team. So they go out and they get that third piece that they need. They get that third piece that they've wanted. They needed that third piece. They get that companion to Clay and Steph. They need that. This year it was Wiggins, right? This year it was Wiggins. They needed that Wiggins companion. They need that third player to get it done. And KD was that guy. And it just so happens to be, yes, it's a weak move. You can't argue that. But it's a very weak move. I hated it. But it's the fact that, they need that third companion. They can't do it. They need it. And he's a top 10 player of all time. Like that's going to help your team 100%. You need that. I don't care who you are. You need that. Come here. If you're giving me a top 10 player, please come. Let's go. Let's run it up. Like
20. On you.
2 top 10 players and a great supporting core that just went back-to-back in the finals. It doesn't matter whether they won or lost. They went back-to-back and had the greatest record in NBA history. Just some numbers, because some people like numbers. In that 2016-17 finals, matter of fact, in the playoffs, KD averaged 28, 7, and 3 for that first year. They won the chip. No question about it. Next year, 28.5, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. You know what Steph averaged? 25, 5, and 6. That was the second year. First year, 26. 2 top 10 players. How do you beat that? You can't beat it. These dudes were literally unstoppable. And to add, you had another great shooter, all-time great shooter in Klay Thompson, another great player in Iguodala, and a great supporting piece and emotional anchor for the team in Draymond Green. There was nothing that could be done. Literally nothing that could be done.
But that's not
Time.
okay.
Time. Cross-examination. Brandon, you could go at 20 in the facts that he presented.
I'm not done yet. So let me ask you a question. In 2015, who won Finals MVP? Should have been LeBron, but who won it?
Should have been LeBron.
Yes.
But who won it?
Andre Iguodala.
Was it not Iguodala?
It was Iguodala. In 2016, that's irrelevant. Cavs won, so they lost. But in 2017, who won Finals MVP? This is when they got Durant.
Was it not KD?
It was KD. In
Okay.
2018, who won Finals MVP?
Was it not KD again?
It was KD again.
Okay.
Exactly. So you're telling me you don't need that player?
No, absolutely not.
So you're telling me you get a guy that's winning Finals MVP 2 years in a row, and you're telling me you don't need that player, which you just lost in 2016 without him. And then in 2018 or 2019, you lose without him again. He leaves. You lose without him. You need that.
You do not.
Yes, you
Top
do.
3 player in the league. You do not.
You do, because they've
Not when you
proven
have a
you can't do it without him. Twan.
Not when
They
you have a
proven it.
historical
It's proven.
team.
It's seen.
A
They are historical,
team
but they
without
couldn't
him,
get it done.
You do not need a top 3 player.
They
No
are
way in
historical,
hell.
but you
come
couldn't
off
get
a
it done.
historical season. You do not go and add a top 3 player in the league and say you need him.
It was a coward move. It was a coward move.
7-3.
He's a piece of shit for it. But they needed him, and it's proven they needed him.
You do not need him. You don't
They
need
needed
him.
him.
You can
They
go
couldn't
get
do it in
literally
2016.
anyone else.
So let me say it. They couldn't do it in 2016, Twan. They couldn't. They had the team, right? They have that team. It's healthy Cavs versus healthy Warriors. They couldn't get it done. Yes, that was what.
Time
Let's go
for
home,
your
ladies.
cross-examination for Brandon.
You are arguing the fact that they needed Kevin Durant.
Correct.
What team that goes back-to-back to the finals and breaks the record for regular season needs a top 3 player against one dude, arguably one dude, because his other 2 supporting casts were injured, had injury problems, so on and so forth, until 2016 when he actually won. Might I add, Kyrie hit that beautiful shot, which put them over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
What team really would need another top 3 player when you already have a top 3 player who just won unanimous MVP, back-to-back MVP? What team would need that?
The Warriors. The
How?
Golden State Warriors need that.
So
do.
if LeBron was to go get, say, a Kawhi Leonard, then he would need Kawhi Leonard to get over the hump?
Yes, because LeBron's not winning right now. LeBron's not. They didn't make the playoffs. Yes, of course he needs Kawhi Leonard.
At that time, we're not talking about right now, because
Okay,
Kawhi
at
is the
that
one
time,
that
I'm glad
actually
you
had
said
to
that. By the
restore
way, and
balance.
at that time, they did need Kevin Durant. It's proven. Like and honestly, I believe if that Cavs team's healthy in 2015, they win that easily. If you have, because remember, Kelly the Clinic Olynyk ripped K Love's arm out. All right. Ripped his arm out of its socket, so he didn't play. Then you got Kyrie goes down with a knee injury in game 1, didn't play. So then you got those bums on the floor. It's a G League game, and LeBron James playing the Golden State Warriors, right?
Absolutely.
So if that team's healthy, I believe that they would have won that series. So then it would have been 2015 they would have lost. 2016 they lost, and then 2017 they get KD and to just to beat LeBron.
Time of the debate for this question on whether or not KD needed the Warriors or the Warriors needed KD. We're going to take a little recess, let the debaters get their points together, and we'll continue in the second half.
Who named Kelly Olynyk the clinic? I need to know.
Yeah,
I need to know that.
I would like to question
Kelly
that
the
too.
clinic, baby.
Who called that man the clinic?
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
Clinic.
I saw Elijah
That
start
is
cracking up. I
hilarious.
was like, fuck, I gotta hold it in.
That's funny.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
All right, now we got the last rebuttal.
This is ludicrous. Okay,
It's like, yeah.
trying to say that Kevin Durant
Chris.
it's literally it's ludicrous, because if you remember, prior to him going there, the Warriors were literally on a tear. They were tearing up the league. Stephen Curry was ruining the league. He changed the course of 2K. 2K had the hashtag break the game, where you could shoot from half court with Stephen Curry, and it would go in all net. And you mean to tell me you needed to add Kevin Durant to that?
You did 100%.
100%.
We're not talking 2K, Twan. We're not talking 2K.
Kevin Durant to somebody who can walk up to half court, shoot, and it goes all.
We're not talking 2K.
You don't need KD for that. You don't need KD for that. You don't need him. The concept of basketball, the concept of competitive basketball in the professional sport of the National Basketball Association was ruined. The game was ruined.
100%. I agree with you there. I agree with you. But they needed it to win rings, and it was clear.
They did not need it because they won without him. The only person that did not win at that time was Kevin Durant.
When KD joined this team, he instantly became the best player on that roster. The fact that they struggled to beat a full-strength team without him makes it clear to me that they needed him. He got them over that hump. He won them 2 championships. You can't tell me if you win someone 2 championships that you don't need him. And then when he leaves, they lose to the Raptors because they needed him. They proved that right then and there. Lose to the Raptors right then and there. They needed him. Twan, they needed him. And it was, I agree with what you're saying. It made it too overpowered. It made the league boring. It was annoying, but they did need him. They did need him. And it was annoying. Yeah, 2K, like you can't use the Warriors. You're a scumbag. Yeah, 100%. But Twan, when he left or when he joined that team, they needed him. He needed to get them over the hump. They had to beat that LeBron team.
You cannot prove to me that a team that just went back to back in the finals needed a top 3 player. It literally, we can argue that yes, Kawhi was able to restore balance to the league, and we can also argue that it was only because KD got hurt. Only because he got hurt. Otherwise, basketball would have still been ruined that year. Still. And the fact that they still were able to make and still compete in the finals without Kevin Durant further proves that they did not need him. Yes, they're supposed to struggle in the finals. It's the finals. It's basketball. It's the highest level of basketball played. You're not supposed to have a cakewalk. But Kevin Durant, it was literally a cakewalk. 4-1, 4-0 sweep. LeBron averaged 32.8, 7.8, and 9.1 that first year, and 34, 9, and 9 the second year. With a sweep. He got swept doing that. That is unheard of. It literally wasn't fair.
You're right.
It wasn't a competition.
LeBron, Jeff Green, Tristan Thompson, they got swept.
It was not a competition. No competition at
They're
all.
bucket getters, Twan. They are raw.
You could have gotten the Eastern Conference All-Stars together, and they still wouldn't have beat them. They still wouldn't have beat the Warriors. They still wouldn't have beat the Warriors. Might I add, during those 2 years, the Warriors had 4 to 5 people make the All-Star team. Their starting 5 was in the All-Star game.
Yeah, they needed that.
They needed
You're literally
that.
proving my point, Twan.
Hello?
Twan, when Kevin Durant joined them, that's when they had that. Their entire starting 5 was like the Western Conference All-Stars or whatever it was, right? They needed that. Twan.
Time.
They were going at it. You know, I didn't want to get in between that.
Gotta let them go at it.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
I'm gonna start by saying my opinion on the topic. I think that the Warriors did not need Kevin Durant. In my opinion, they were good enough already. They had the splash codes. They had Draymond Green. They had good bigs. They had good role players. I didn't think that the Warriors needed Kevin Durant. But for opening statement, I thought y'all both had a great opening statement. You guys presented the facts that supported the rest of your argument. I like how competitive your rebuttals were. I think that you guys went back and forth on your points. So overall, I think you guys did a great job. Twan definitely, put out more facts in his argument and more statistics, which I think helped improve his argument. But Brandon also did give out facts for his argument, just not as detailed. I would have liked to hear some more records be, considering you were talking about a lot of the finals games, maybe some of the series numbers, facts like that. Presentation style, I both liked how you guys presented. I think you guys were pretty even on presentation style. Organization and clarity, I understood both your points very clearly. And I like the haymakers that you guys threw. I think going back and forth, that was a really good debate and it was fun to listen to. But in my mind, who won the debate? I think Brandon convinced me that the Warriors needed Kevin Durant to beat a healthy LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love.
Well, my opinion on this topic after reading, did the Warriors need Kevin Durant? I don't like Kevin Durant. I'm a Knicks fan. I actually despise Kevin Durant. He's one of my least favorite players. So I, of course, didn't think the Warriors needed Kevin Durant. With that being said, I didn't know what to think throughout this debate. I mean, y'all both made some great points. My winner switched a couple times. So the opening statement, B. Siege came out with some facts, made some strong points. I forgot how bad LeBron's supporting cast was at that time with Dellavedova. He's not even in the league anymore. And he's not a day older than like 33. So that says a lot. However, Twan did make some great points, made me think, but he didn't make any he didn't state any stats or verifiable facts outside of his opinion. So I got BC's taking the opening statement. Now, this is where it gets tricky for me. The strength of the first rebuttal, honestly, I called it a tie. I don't even know if you can do that, but I called that one a tie because you both stated great opinions and great facts, stats. So this is where I kind of got a little confused about who I thought was winning at this point. Strength of the second rebuttal, who responded most effectively. This is when I had Twan taking a little edge because he mentioned 2K. And even though it sounds funny, it's a fact. I mean, nobody in 2K was really making threes from deep prior to like 2K14. And then when Steph started going crazy like that, I mean, you got Trae Young now being able to shoot from half court. So I got Twan taking the second rebuttal. The closing, what convinced me was when B. Siege agreed with Twan to the point he made in his second rebuttal, but he also disproved the fact that they didn't need him by stating like the state of the league at the time. They didn't need Kevin Durant from, like 2014 to 2016 clearly, but in order to get over that hump and continue to dominate the league and beat Cleveland like they lost in 2016, they needed to add another piece because clearly when you focus on Steph like they did in 2016, they didn't have that next option based on what BC said, and it's kind of true, to carry them over that hump. I'm just stating what y'all debated. You do not look at me crazy. So, but nah, you definitely, you guys both made some great points. At this point, though, at the closing, I think BC had a great closing, and that's what convinced me that he took it.
Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen.
Was because of the 2K thing almost had me. I was like, damn, that Steph really changed the game.
Let's go home.
But it was by a hair. But it was situational, in my opinion. I don't, and this is crazy because I'm really changing my opinion, like I said. But they didn't need him 2014 to 2016. But when Cleveland won in 2016, I think they would have continued to win if they hadn't added Kevin Durant. And they ended Cleveland's chances of winning again when they added KD. So I think BC's got it by a hair, very close.
And just to kind of go what E said. The Andrew Wiggins point that Brandon made was a convincing argument for me because I felt that he's right in 2015 or 2014, 2015 and 2015, 2016, they didn't need that third option other than Draymond, like a scoring option, because the Splash Bros could do it themselves. And I had me thinking, when KD came, they needed him. When KD left, they needed him, but they needed a scorer to fill that void with Andrew Wiggins. So that's what helped them this year.
And Jordan Poole.
Facts.
That is true. That is true.
Are we just like excluding Iguodala from all of this?
My point is, like, when they lost Kevin Durant, they needed Poole and Wiggins to fill that one scoring void of Kevin Durant.
This was definitely fun. In the opening statement, I got Twan taking the lead on that. You came out kind of strong. And I was excited for what else you had to offer. You brought energy, you brought some comedy. It was good stuff. But then Brandon got you on the first rebuttal. He definitely got you. You punched him first, but he hit you kind of hard on that second rebuttal, that first rebuttal. And then he continued to beat that on the cross-examination. He had momentum. He had momentum with that. But then you came strong on the second rebuttal. You got your legs back. You was down to like 8. The boxer, the judge had you at 8, but you got right. You shook back up. But then he knocked you out on the closing statement. I think Brandon single-handedly kind of dominated this specific round. You had some good facts. Your presentation style was good. But I think Brandon, by just saying how they needed LeBron, they needed KD to get over the hump with LeBron, I think that was the best point of the argument. I couldn't shake that, so I got to go with Brandon. I'm sorry.
I gotta say, man, that was a great debate, though. That was the first time
y'all did
y'all
great.
both convinced me. Like,
honestly, that was tough for me to decide because I actually was in support of Twani's argument. Like that, I would still argue to Twan's side. Like, even though Brandon just convinced me, I would still argue to Twan's
I would
side.
too. I hated that. Win this, I was like, there's no chance I win this. But I had a lot of fun, and that was dope. But as Jameis Winston said, let's eat a W. Let's go eat a W, and that's what we did today. So we got it done. But that was fun. Thanks, fellas.